So, welcome to another Akashic conversation with the legendary Valentina Matthias, an international Akashic elder, part of the royal lineage of Akashic guardians and master healer, and co-hosted by myself, Corinne Henderson. I am a soul guide and an Akashic graduate. So in today's Akashic Conversations, we're going to be exploring intuition. What is intuition? Why is it important that we even know what it is and that we are connected to it? How do we connect to it? How can we develop our intuition? So it's going to be such a fascinating conversation. So welcome, Valentina.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here, as always, with you, Corinne, and welcome to whoever happens to be watching this. It's really nice to be connected with you too. Intuition's a big one. And first of all, actually, I'd like to ask you, Corinne, how would you define intuition?
Okay, so intuition for me is it's a feeling, it's a knowing, I see it as being my connection to my soul's guidance or my soul's GPS. So for me, it's just knowing things, feeling things, being aware of signs and synchronicities. So being
Yeah.
tuned to communication from the universe. I mean, I often I receive a lot of signs and synchronicities from other people, and often from my intuition I get this pause. It's like a pause, and I know that I'm being shown something, and I might not always know why I'm being shown it, but I bank it for later, and then the connections start to come.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just an impulse. It's just an impulse to do something, go somewhere, and then I'll realize afterwards, oh, I was being guided by my intuition because something unfolds. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I
Yeah.
the intuition.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Really good to hear. And I'm sure that resonates with a lot of people too, either thinking, yeah, it's like that for me, or like, no, it's like this for me, or I've got no idea actually what intuition is. So, um, which brings me, I feel like I need to share that a lot of the feeling or the teaching out there for people is that intuition is something that you have or you don't have, that perhaps a healer can activate for you, or a higher aspect of you can activate for you, or it's just blocked because something happened to you, traumatic, and that shut you down, or, someone put a spell on you or something like that. So there's a whole underlying feeling of disempowerment and it being a little bit out of your control. And also on the other side of it, this is an amazing gift. And when it works, it's incredible. And it's such a good ally to have in our lives, both our everyday lives and our spiritual work. Like we're all about the Akash, so it's great having a great third eye intuition. It relates generally to this Shakara here, the energy center called your third eye, that connects to your pineal gland in the middle of your brain, which is about the size of a thumbnail. And, it's great when you go on your Akashic journeys, being able to really see and have a really strong knowing and clear communication. So there's that aspect of it for spiritual seekers, of wanting to be, correct, not feel like you're second guessing what's coming through for you, or wondering, is it just my mind or my ego giving me the answers that I want? And, is it really spot on? And then also there's your everyday life where you want your intuition to help you with everyday situations where there might be aspects of what's going on, whether it's with your family or meetings for work or presentations you have to do or important things that you're generating energy for in your life. And for some reason, there's a piece of the puzzle that was missing the whole time and you never knew. And afterwards, it seems like everyone else knew,
Right.
but I missed it. Or so I'll go more into that, the sort of people that would love to learn more about intuition in a minute. But I just wanted to say that it's not this um, ethereal thing that you either are gifted to have or don't have, and it's either a curse or a gift, or someone can help you with it, or you have to go through this huge ritual to sort of remove whatever's been done to block it. There could be aspects like that for sure.
Yeah.
But like anything else in our human incarnation into a physical body, both our physical body, our energy centers, our light body in this realm, this 3D reality that we're in, we can get to know them and we can work them like a muscle to make them work better. And your intuition is the same.
Yeah.
Like, believe it or not. And the reason I talk about this is because it's the most common question with clients and students over the years is, how do I know if my intuition's working correctly? And how can I get it to work more accurately and more often and
Yeah.
more strongly? So I've really looked in the Akash and looked at the available information out there and brought it together, in a teaching that breaks it down. And I call it your intuition blueprint, because we all do have a blueprint of getting to know how your intuition works, which is this, another way of refining it. It's not this thing
Right.
that's, just this expansive thing. It's very specific and it's yours. It's very specific to you.
Yes.
And it will give you signals. Like you mentioned, Corinne, about you get this sense of like, stop, time's opening. Okay, I got some information, I'll bank that. Some people get a gut feeling to let them know that things have happened, but there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah.
And expecting it to just work or someone to be able to wave a wand to get it to work for you is fairly naive, really. It's like going to a gym and being in that environment and being like, I don't know what's wrong with this gym, but my biceps, nothing's happening.
Right.
Like we don't have that expectation. We know that there's specific exercises for specific muscles on our body that we want to build. And by the way, just as an aside, I think it's hilarious that I always talk about going to the gym. Never go.
You're just trying to prime your mind for a day when you will
Yeah,
go.
one day I'll go and
Right.
I'll expect instant transformation. Excuse
Like,
me?
or you'll be like, can you lift that weight for me? Why haven't I got a bicep? And
Yes.
I love how
Yeah.
you bring it forward, Valentina, as a muscle, because I never thought about it that way until I did your
Yeah.
intuition,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
I do realize as I look back, it is a muscle I've been building by building that trust by paying attention to those signs, those things, by not just writing everything off. And it's built that trust and it's been like a muscle so that now
Yeah.
I didn't used to be like that. I didn't used to get those pauses and no, but that's built over time. So I love how you bring it
Yeah.
back.
And it's taking the time to get to know how it works for you, and to get to know A, how it works for you, and B, just how it works. Most people don't really understand how the third eye actually operates, what the rules of engagement are, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, and this is amazing for, some people out there just feel like they hear phrases like, oh, one door will close and another door will open. Don't stress if something's finishing in your life or that didn't work as you expected. It just means there's another door opening. And you're there thinking, I'm in the hallway. There's no doors.
Let me out.
Like, that's just sounds like such a great phrase, but I'm actually stuck in the hallway and I'd really like to get to my destination. I would like something to work for me. Things like that. So, and, trust your gut. Your gut's never wrong. Well, true, if if that's your intuition signal from your gut,
Mm.
and trust your intuition. It's like saying, trust the stranger. Like I would like to get to know people before I trust them. And I'd like to get to know, oh, I don't know why the word rules of engagement keeps coming up. I mean, it sounds like something to do with war, but it's come up again. So it's not about war. But, get to know your own rules of engagement with your intuition of how your intuition speaks to you, how it sends you a signal, a sign that something's coming in for you to pay attention to. Like you said, time just kind of opens up for you, how it tells you when you've got the message. There's a whole process to go through to bring you into coherence with your world and with a particular issue that you're looking at. It's, it comes back to in another chat we talked about how we live in a transactional world where we think we can say something and it happens, or we can pay for something and we get it. You can't just go work.
Right.
It's not transactional. We don't, energy doesn't operate like that. You just don't say work because I told you to, and I'm a modern woman in the Western world. And if I say I want something, then that's it. I want it and I can get it. And, all that side of life is great too. But energy and intuition in particular is different. You have to understand how it actually works and allow its process. Yeah.
And I think
Because you're going to get a different result. I have to keep talking. Sorry to interrupt you, but it's a bit like fast food. Like, it's different from when you've cooked something or you've gone to a restaurant where they've cooked something from scratch with beautiful ingredients and consciousness. You're going to get fed either way. You're going to get some insight either way. But
yeah.
the quality of it, you know, there's a big scale of difference there. Big scale of difference. Yeah. And the effect that it has on your life, in the case of food, on your body systems, big scale of difference. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
No,
Go
absolutely
on.
not. I'm glad you said shut up. You're in the flow. So, no, it was just some of the stuff you said, and I kind of wrote down no substance in that when you're saying like we have these phrases that are banded around, which don't really, they're just phrases that have no substance. There's nothing to the substance of it. And that leaves people feeling lost, disconnected, and bad about themselves because people just
Yeah. And betrayed, quite honestly,
betray.
feeling like I believed this and I got all my ducks in a row, say, for example, to prepare for a meeting or a presentation. I did my spiritual work as well. So I've got everything covered and it doesn't go well. It's not accepted well. I don't get the result that I was sure I was visualizing that I would get. Um, so it's part of my French, but what the fuck's going on? I
Right.
did everything. I
Exactly.
did it all. I did the mainstream stuff. I did the alternative spiritual stuff, and it still fell over. And in fact, it always falls over. In fact, everything always looks really good right to the last minute when it just drops away from me, and I'm left thinking, "Well, I'm not missing anything. I did everything that I was, all the advice out there, I've followed it. Um, I'm a
The
good girl.
affirmations. Yeah, exactly.
Or yeah. So
Oh,
that's where you need to actually have someone from the Akash like me come in and spell it out for you and go, by the way, this is how it actually works. And this is how you can strengthen the muscle. Yeah.
exactly. And I love the way, Valentina, that you bring forward the information because you make complex subjects really simple and digestible so you can, they're to be integrated in the body, um, which is
Yeah,
so
that's my skill. Yeah. 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 Thank you. Yeah, I like doing that. I am a bit of a librarian, like an Akashic librarian. I like to find the information and present it to you in a digestible manner,
yeah,
and then something happens and it becomes powerful. There's always that magic in there as well.
completely. So,
Yeah.
you know, who would you say it's for? I mean, I'm like everyone, right? Everyone. This is
Yeah. I guess it's, yeah, everyone. I guess there's a few categories. There would be like, okay, let me say, to simplify it, probably three categories. There would be spiritual seekers, people who are already on their path that want to, ramp up what they're doing spiritually or soulfully. And there would be high achievers who look for that out there in the world, that look for that pinnacle moment so we'll go through them. So um, spiritual seekers would be people who are starting on their journey and finding it all really interesting and excited to know that they can build their intuition, and also not only excited to know that they can strengthen the muscle of their intuition, but want to be able to perceive what is right for them and what is not aligned so much for them, because there's a lot of spiritual paths out there. So it's really nice, rather than being told this is for you, to be able to build your intuition muscle and, use the process to have some coherence in the way you're looking and assessing the different things that are on offer for you, and what might be, great for you. Because I see a lot of people that are doing half a dozen courses at once spiritually, and it's a lot. So it's nice to fine tune that a bit and really just sit back and enjoy. There's no hurry. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
ascension into sort of this, some sort of spiritual mastery for yourself is really not about how much you do. It really is about the energy shifting up into, a new field of energy. So there's them. There's you. Didn't say them. There's you.
Yeah.
And then I'd like to introduce the next group, which would be the people who are already on their path of spiritual and soulful mastery. So you and I, Corinne, come across a lot of that's the world we move in. We meet a lot of people like that at retreats and teachings, and just the type of people we generally hang out with. And often there's a bit of confusion, a bit of concern about dark energies, and people, not knowing if people are integrity or not, because people are able to market themselves and talk the talk. And should I go deeper into a spiritual relationship with this person or this teaching, or just for yourself, um, you know, can I see more in the Akash, or can I see more, get more information in, whatever your modality is? This certainly doesn't have to be used with the Akash. This is like life skills that are important. Um, so there's people like us that need that. And that's the next person that kind of needs to be your group. If you're in that group, you kind of need to be reminded that muscles need to be worked and memory needs to be regained of how your intuition works for you. And especially if you have been in some situation, either in this life when you were younger, or another life or another dimension, where your third eye intuition has been shut down. Once it's healed and opened again, there is a tendency to think, well, great, should work now. But of course, you have to regain that muscle, just like if you've been in an accident and there's some muscle, what's the word? Atrophy, and you have to work to regain that muscle. So it has to be regained for you. It's just like going back to the basics and remembering, oh, okay, yep, back to the basics, and then, yeah, okay, that's back. Now we can jump back up. Now we can jump back to the heights of magnificent intuition. And then the third group are the, people out there, more out there in the world, that really like pinnacle moments. And you might be working in the corporate world, you might be running your own alternative business. You could be a mum or a dad, and just like, but there's an aspect to you that really likes those moments as if you're on top of a mountain, like the classic eagle being able to fly up high and see everything that's going on. And you really understand that having that spiritual aspect and that intuitive aspect working strongly is just as important, equally as important for you as succeeding at whatever your path is in what people like Corinne and I call the 3D world, the
Right.
everyday world, the beautiful earth out there doing your thing. So this group of people, if you're in this group of people, you would love this course because it gives you a genuine muscle to build, and genuine knowledge and information about how your intuition works, so that it can be switched on even in moments of stress, even in the middle of a meeting that's, high powered, so that it actually works, and works really well, and you don't get the feeling of like, I don't know if I should say that or not. I'm not sure if my intuition here is correct, or and it helps you prepare because the meditations that come with it help you look ahead and prepare for presentations, meetings, meeting targets, anything at all, so that you've already like ahead of the pack, so to speak. You've already prepared, and you're not surprised by that's not the result I expected. I didn't see that coming, that person coming out, left of center into my field, and that hiccup and that roadblock, because you do see them all, because you're looking at them all with your third eye first, with the meditations that support the program. So that's the third group that you need to prepare. You're very success oriented, and you like those pinnacle moments of actually being able to see clearly what's going on or what the roadblocks might be. Um, so that's the third group that this is really important for. And there's no judgment on any of them. Like there's no sense of, oh, this person's more spiritual or this person's more intuitive. Like all of that, quite honestly, is just bullshit.
Yeah.
You've come into this incarnation with certain equations to do what you need to do, and you're doing it. And that's what's important. I've come in with a high vibrational Akashic DNA energy with certain goals that some of you might look at as going, wow, she is fully on the spiritual path. She's a leader. She's like someone to look up to. Maybe in another life, you achieved all of that. And
Wow.
now it's my turn. So, we don't judge each other for what we're doing this time, because maybe in another lifetime, I did all the materialistic things, which I have. I know I have. So it's like all of the judgment of who's on the higher vibration, like it's honestly, it really is just a waste of time. Everyone's doing their equation, and we've all done the other equations in other lifetimes. So,
I love
yeah.
that you brought that up, Valentina. It reminds me of the interview that we did together, which I'll link at the end of this video, um, where right at the end, you just asked whether there was anything that I asked, is there anything else you want to add? And you kind of made that point a little bit, just saying that we can think that we are really spiritual and really connected to our souls, and there may be someone who doesn't even connect to that identity of being spiritual, but they're really kind and generous and they're in the heart space. So they're
Yeah.
absolutely connected to the soul, because the soul is all of those things. And that's
Yeah.
what's important.
Yeah, that's right. I've forgotten about that. Yeah, that was beautiful. That
Mhm.
interview in my friend Janine's garden. Yeah, that was lovely.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. So, so true. Yeah.
But I also wanted to pick up on the fact that you kind of said then, no matter who, from my perspective, even if you don't identify with any of those three groups, everybody, intuition is our birthright. It is a sense that we are all born with as these divine beings that we are, and is a sense that is there to make our life flow more, right? So we can really
Yeah.
connect. And
Yeah.
we are denied that as children because
Mm.
intuition is not on the curriculum at all. So we have to, as adults, re-educate ourselves. Uh,
Yeah.
I say it this way. I say like, it's like being born and having one of your arms strapped up. You might get used to living a life with just one arm and you adapt because we're very adaptable beings. You might adapt, but why wouldn't you free your other arm and know that when you've got both arms,
Yes.
you're going to fly?
Yeah. And of course, that segues nicely into the fact that, of course, you're going to need to exercise it once it's freed. Of course, you're going to need to exercise your intuition and learn about it, and take care of your intuition, and have it be spot on for you and have control over it. Not as in like, how can I control people with it? Just as in, it can also be too full on. So you really need to get to know your intuition, your blueprint of how it works for you. And in the course, I also teach you how to activate it. You'll find out ways to activate it automatically that don't look obvious to people, like sitting there and going into meditation pose. Just give me a moment. Let me just sit on the table here.
I'd love someone to do that out there and let me know how it goes in the middle
Yeah,
of a meeting.
yeah. You guys can check your texts. I'm just going to tune in. Yeah, you learn what your blueprint is to automatically start activating it, which doesn't have to look obvious to other people at all, but you bring it in. And
Yeah,
it's like, okay, I think I need to activate my intuition now. It's completely individual for all of us. So I'll let you guys enjoy you when you do the course, figuring out what that is for you. And, you know, yeah, I won't
mm,
say anymore. It's exciting. Yeah.
amazing. We're going to put in the description a link to this course, this absolutely incredible course, which I just highly recommend to every single human
Yeah.
being.
And it's on an app, by the way. It's so easy. Like you can do it on your desktop, of course, but it means that you don't have to go looking through emails to try and find it. Like, oh, I think I'll go find that course of Valentina's and that Valentina and Corinne talked about. Like 1,000 emails later. Yeah, you could just put it on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's absolutely amazing. So we'll leave a link in the description below. And again, if you do the course, we'd love to hear your feedback and just see how you're implementing it in your life.
Yeah. 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 And this is the way I do everything, the Akash, the intuition, life, it's a living thing. So if there needs to be upgrades and changes or more information comes through in the Akash, I just add that in and it's available for everyone. So yeah, yeah. Don't feel restricted, like it's a straight jacket of learning in anything that Corinne and I talk about.
Yeah.
There's certain architectures and certain procedures that are important to follow, but within that, it's your beautiful energy figuring out how things work for you.
Yeah.
Mm.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Valentina. That was another
Thank you, Corinne. That
amazing
was great.
conversation.
Yeah.
Um,
It's so lovely doing these. I love it. I find it energizing. So,
Me too. Me too. Yeah, and as we're doing them, so much more is coming forward that we're going to be talking about, and we want to invite the amazing
yeah,
audience.
so get used to us.
Yeah,
We got a lot to say.
exactly. We've got a lot to say, yeah. So if you've got like a topic that you'd love to hear us talk about,
Yeah.
do leave it in the comments, and obviously we will consider it as a topic that we'll talk about on the
Yeah.
channel. Yeah, so we're really
Yeah,
glad
for sure.
the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, audience.
Right. Thank you, Valentina. And
Thank you,
until next,
Corinne.
see you on the next Academy.
Until next time.